It was an incredible trip, and we had an incredible time. And one of the things that has been added over the last couple of years, this was the first year that they were, there's all sorts of evangelism going on through the medical clinics and the children's camps and all this. But this time, and the pastor there, Pastor Aragon, was all fired up. They were going to get 3 of these Christian churches there. And keep in mind, sometimes when I say a Christian church, one of them is a pavilion that is not completely covered, and stuff like that. We're not exactly talking about.
They got their own version of the church at the Pines.
Yeah, they don't exactly have a Christian life center. But anyway, so
is there any pine trees down there, by the way?
I didn't see any. No,
it's palm trees mostly.
Parched
fruit,
a lot of parched. Yeah, a lot of coconut trees and banana trees and
probably too
like
hot
that.
for the old pine tree.
Yeah, mango.
I thought a Georgia pine would grow in anything. I think they grow in the desert.
A lot of mango trees. A lot of mango trees. Weird looking squirrels too. I don't think they were even squirrels. But anyway, so we're there, and so
what they look like, the squirrels?
It looked like a
fox squirrel.
What are those things that only live at Madagascar? What are those? Like a lemur. And
lemur.
It looked like a lemur and a squirrel combined.
By the way, have you seen the advertisement for the lemurs of Madagascar?
No.
It's like an IMAX high def slow motion thing of all these lemurs jumping around, and buddy, I'll be there for that. I got to see that.
Let's make a note of that.
hey, graceful! Wow, they jump.
So anyway, I was told this time that I was going to get a chance to preach 3 times. Once at the church, and then 2 times at just evangelical stage setup. Here we go.
Grande Gringo.
Yeah, Grande Gringo. And by the way, on my last one. And we had a picture of it. I pulled out a Nicaraguan hat, to see if I can, and that I bought somebody for a few dollars. And when Sherry said, "You preached in that hat," I said, "Look, we're trying to survive in the sun."
Was that a brim? It looked like a brim.
It was a brim.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Yeah, I love brims.
Yeah, I felt very Ricky Ricardo.
I've been brimless for several years.
Yeah.
That's a great picture, by the way. I cut that out and put it on a few things.
I think that was taken by one of our students.
Yeah, that's a very good shot.
Good. All right, so in that picture, put it back up, Adler. There it is, rocking it. All right, put it back up.
Did you go with the JFK line? I am a Nicaraguan.
No, I did not. But look, standing next to me. You see the little woman?
Yeah.
Standing next to me, interpreting. I want to talk about her. All right, so we're in the airport, and usually we have interpreters there, and we did again, but then they hire them and bring them in or whatever.
If you just had hams with you. Gosh.
I know.
His ability to speak Spanish.
So, and I can speak words.
I'd have got that bag quicker. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I can. You know how understanding customs can be in Nicaragua.
Sure.
But anyway, so we're in the. I knew
customs,
that was there.
Customs at LaGuardia is not all that.
No,
nice,
it's not.
I'll tell you that.
So we're sitting there, and I noticed that on our trip, I hear this woman that's coming from Briarwood, the school. He said, and I'm like, I said, who's the little? And they said that's Mrs. Mears that teaches Spanish at the elementary school. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I remember when our kids had her in Spanish. And I'm like, she's going on the trip, and I text Sherry about that, and she goes, well, I'll tell you one thing, she'll be helpful. Well, not only does she speak Spanish, she's from Central America. She's from Panama, so she knows this culture, and of course she's excited about trying to go to her people and try to bring them to the Lord, and she loves Jesus, loves sold out follower of Christ. So there was a discussion on whether
she say Jesus or Jesus.
Jesus,
yeah.
Cristo, Jesus.
Cristo, Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, somebody said, well, she could be your interpreter, and she was like, well, I do not know. She was like, I want to make sure because I'm speaking English so long, and her daughter was on the trip. She said, I don't know, and so we decided to do a test run because she wanted to look at the scriptures I was going to be preaching on, and at the church to see how it would go. And they at one point they were like, well, we have these interpreters. I said, let's give her a run here. Mm-hmm. She's got some passion for Jesus. Because no offense, and there were others there that were believers. Sometimes you can have an interpreter that's not a believer, and it just isn't the same.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
they're just kind of repeating what you say,
right.
But not with passion.
And we had interpreters that the pastor had brought in, so they would have to interpret the gospel, hoping it would pierce their heart. But I even had somebody tell me on the strip they saw Billy Graham with an interpreter one time that was not a believer, and said his passion. Then he'd go to the interpreter, said it just kind of died a little bit. So let me tell you, we didn't have that problem with Mrs. Mears, buddy. So I literally said this phrase. The Bible tells us that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Inamasiki Batita. On a matara katina matara si birigita si griba kadhan o para matik kabinita to sa tito de Cristo Jesus and abando de Cristo la vida. And I went, I didn't say all that. there's no way. And all of a sudden she's preaching she's preaching her own sermon. You know, and her voice is cracking and people are crying and I'm like, should I just should I sit down? I mean, this little woman's bringing everybody to Jesus. I mean, and she said, no. You say that. I want you to say, get me started. You know, and I'm like, you know, and I'm like, what? So you need me to kind of launch, and then it'd be like.
Did you try even something shorter to see how it'd go?
Even though we were still sinners, Jesus died for us. In a materia machino. And a you know, like people, amen. You know, people want to come to the altar. I'm like, should I just get up? Should I leave?
Did you try, Rick, like a test, like a real short one to see what she would say? And on the third day.
Yeah. And I went.
Look over.
After seeing the sisters of Lazarus, Jesus wept. In a matina carilla. And the minute que está la mamá. You know, I'm just like, people are like, ah! All people trying to get up at the altar and give their life to Jesus. I'm like,
man, I'm 3 lines in.
Yeah, I don't know whether I had anything to do with it, but she brought a bunch of people to Jesus. I'm talking about a bunch. 93 decisions for Jesus throughout the week, and she must have had 90 of them. I mean, it was like,
yeah.
So let me tell you what she do. So then she got on fire, and the Holy Spirit got to going.
But she wanted you to fire her up.
Yeah, I even said, I said, do you think? No, I want to hear what you say first. Okay. So look,
you were her cue card.
She even got to when we were in the camps.
I love it.
When we were in the camps, and she said to the children, "You got to give me about Cristo." And then we'd say, "Hey, if everyone wants to give their life to Jesus," and people raise their hands, well, she'd vet them out. Come here, my little darling. No, he's not ready. Okay, we move him out. Jesus? I did. She understands it. Give me your book. She started to. So anyway, she would look, and at one time, a little group of Nicaraguan teenagers tried to just roll through the area at one of the camps going hunting with a slingshot. I see her go after them. And next thing I look, and they're all sitting there with little cold faces lined up down a fence under a shade tree. She's like, and they're giving their life to Jesus. Yes, ma'am. I mean, nobody could get away. She chased soccer guys one time. You know, like that. They're like, man, we're just trying to play soccer. I mean, just trying to play soccer. Football. You know, I look, she goes over there. I mean, these are big, rough-looking guys. Yeah. Suddenly, one of them's coming over with a cold face and sits down for the evangelical event. She won't let him leave. He's got a soccer uniform on. I think he had a game.
She pulled him right off the field.
You're going to get that Cristo. You know, like that. Yes, ma'am. And so, but see, she had so much passion for her people, and she could speak their language. But it was funny. I literally, like, come here, Greg. Come stand over here. I'll turn your mic off. I want feedback. Come over here. I'll show you what she did. Come here. So, all right. So I thought, like they were mamas that came to know Jesus because their kids were at the camp. They come up and she'd go, and they thought they were just gonna come up and get their kid. Oh no.
Right.
Oh no. And I said, okay. She's telling that the baby, the kid, you know, has given his life to Christ, and they were all of them. She made sure they understood. If they didn't understand, she wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
She wouldn't document it, which I think is wise.
Yeah.
Don't hold them back, but also don't let them roll if they don't know what they're talking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the mom would sit there, and all of a sudden I'd see, "Iretaría Cristo," and also the parent would be like, "Uh-oh, she's on me now." And also you see tears start running down like that, and she go, "You take the children. I have to go talk to her." You know, and also you look at what she'd be giving her life to Jesus. Mm-hmm. So, but she wanted me to help them. She still wanted me to do the English so she'd know she would go.
Fire up.
She actually got with my stomach.
You were the cue card.
She would punch me when she wanted English with her finger. She would literally go, and I'd go, "I acknowledge that I'm a sinner and you have died for my sins." And then she'd be ready for more English. And it was like she was pushing me like I was a tape recorder. You know?
Really?
Yeah, she just punched me in the stomach every time she wanted me to say something in English because I know she was finished.
If she'd done that to me, I'd started laughing.
Well,
Rick, what are you speaking when you?
I don't know what I'm saying. but I will,
Ricky's just making noise.
But that's how she sounded to
Pretty
me.
convincing.
But I will tell you this: did you know my fake Spanish was so good? The interpreters acknowledged, "Hey, that's pretty good."
Yeah. Really?
They did.
Yeah. Well, you've been doing it for years.
Did they really?
Yeah,
You did that when we had Spanish.
every
class.
now and then. I'd try it on a kid. And they go, "See." But let me tell you what happened when I got back, though. You talk about offending somebody. You know how you can't turn it off? Really, those of us that couldn't really speak each other's language, the C was kind of our go-to. That just meant I understand what you're trying to tell me, either with hand signals or whatever. And you'd be, see. Or if it was something, say, see. You know, that was it. So I had gotten so into that. Now I'm back in America on Saturday. We go into a place to get food. Of course, it's Mexicans.
See?
This guy had obviously lived here for a long time, but he was Mexican and spoke English fine. And he said, "Hey, you want the number one?" And I said, "See." And I stopped myself like that, and he looked at me like, I said, "I just came back from Nicaragua. I'm not trying to do some Mexican thing here. I've been saying "see" a lot of "see." See, that's when you're really fired up. That's what they do. And then Ola, like one guy, he and I are like the best of friends there. And he can only say this to me, "Hola, Rick." That's it. And then after that, we do hand signals. I got to learn the language.
Yeah.
Of course, Hamzy was going to teach me, and that ain't working.
Thanks, Helms.
Hey, you think's locked on me now? You think Senor Ramirez? You need to learn the Spanish.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, yeah, she's good. Yeah.
I would be your teacher. I'm like, look, I don't want anything. Man, you'll get me some room and let me out.
I'll poke you in the stomach.
Yeah, until I do a full paragraph, you won't let me out. We'll be back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.